And with this, we're coming to Franck Braunstedter from our gold sponsor, NTT Security. So I'm very verbal about we're not accepting sponsors in the main area, but traditionally there is one exception. The gold sponsor is allowed to appear in the main area. And NTT Security is about security automation, which is a very hot topic now. It's been around for a couple of years, but I think last year in 2017, we've really seen people catching up and DevOps and security together. And NTT Security is one of the champions in this area. Franck Braunstedter, thank you.
So I promise I will not do a marketing speech, at least I had to promise it. Just one word about NTT Security. We're the security company within the NTT group, mainly delivering security consultancy, but also managed services around security. So that was my sales speech. Closing it now. I was not so long ago on the other side. I'm working now for 1 year for NTT Security. Before that, I was working in a biotech company close to Basel, which has been acquired last year by the American big brother. Working there for 8 years and going a little bit through this, through the cloud transformation over the 8 last years. And usually when I speak to customers today, the first thing I try to understand is where are you as a security part in your company? Where is your business towards cloud? Is your business already running in the cloud area, or is your business waiting for you? Are you pushing it? So putting it back to my personal history, when I was head of security, we had, since 2011, we started this cloud journey, pushing, enabling our business to go to the cloud. It started quite early with Google Apps. We were the first company in Switzerland migrating to Google Apps in 2012, before the other big brother in Basel as well. And slowly enabling our business to go further. This has really taken since when we went to AWS. The last project I did before I left there was moving data centers, full data centers, to the cloud, to AWS. Simply diminishing the amount of physical data centers we had, migrating workloads, migrating everything. So of course it's not a one-to-one migration, it's an automation. I think the AWS CTO said not so long ago, innovate or die, and that's really what we see in the cloud area. The cloud is there to push, to enable stuff, to enable new applications, to enable businesses to go faster, and what we don't want as security specialists, we don't want to slow them down. I think there's 4 situations, well, 3 basically situations when I talk to customers. The first one is, yeah, they anticipate, and believe me, those ones are quite rare. They anticipate going to the cloud. The security people are involved in the cloud initiatives, or they want to be involved, they push to it. You have those which participate, either willing or not, but the business has decided, we go to the cloud, we have not to secure it. And the last category, unfortunately, that's what I see the most, are people saying, okay, we have to go to the cloud because our business has taken a credit card, they open an account, they started to migrate an application, it's there, it's in Azure, it's in AWS, but we forgot about security, and even sometimes we forgot about IT. And believe me, now, speaking from the other side, what I saw in those 5 years, moving to AWS, moving workloads to the cloud, from a security point of view, it's a unique occasion to start from scratch. Starting from scratch in the security area means you don't have to worry if you enable NetFlow on your router or on your switch that this Cisco switch will crash. Everything is there. You can automate everything. You can push all your dreams to the cloud, and there is no question, will it work, will it not work? If you want to do something, you just push it. It's a question, of course, it's a question of money then, but you can do it. The challenge with cloud, yes, the business agility, which is there, enabled by the cloud, requires speed. You want to be there, you want to go in the cloud, guys, they need their virtual machines, their workloads, they need them within 2 minutes. They don't want to wait 7 weeks. until all the processes are done, the security checks are done. No, they want to be able to recreate, to move on this environment within seconds. And that's exactly what you need to enable. The security is often, in the customers I talk to, security is standing in the middle, stopping everything, slowing down everything. Yeah, because we have old processes which are not adapted to this new environment, which are not automated, which are not cloud-proof. But security has to align. Believe me, security has to align. We want to control the freedom of the developers, of the businesses in the cloud areas, but we have to do it. We cannot just stop it. The cloud is there. The cloud is moving ahead, and our businesses are moving fast. I think the first thing a security team needs to think about is, why are we moving to the cloud? Why is my business wanting to move to the cloud? Is it because it needs to go fast? Because it needs to be deployed everywhere on the globe? Because it's flexible? Whatever, but you need to understand this. Why are we going there? It's rarely an IT initiative. I mean, we did it back 2011, pushing first cloud first strategy. Even the business was sometimes reluctant. Back 2010, 2011, the cloud was not so popular. Today, it's common sense. The transformation challenge is that the classical perimeter of your IT is just blown away. It's blown away by SaaS components. It's blown away by infrastructure components you would roll out everywhere on the cloud, on the globe. And that's exactly the discussion with trust we just had before, saying you need to understand as a business, as a security company, you need to understand the shared responsibility model. What's your responsibility? What do you have to do? And what's the responsibility of your provider, of AWS, of Microsoft, of whatever provider you have there? And that's usually, it's the first step in the security approach, because then you have to face technological changes. There's a lot of technological changes. Everything is different. Everything gets software in the cloud. Everything you roll out in the cloud is software. And cultural changes. It's not at all the same deploying something in a 7 weeks process in your own data center and deploying it within minutes in a cloud environment. And I think from a technology point of view, everything that changes is around automation. You need to automate these security policies you run for manually or you run on paper for years. You need to automate them. You need to have processes that take 5 minutes and not 5 weeks. Bringing all those technologies, I mean, the first line of protection when we speak about cloud, being now SaaS, PaaS, infrastructure, everything, the first line of defense is a well-working identity management. Start with there. Start your base work. I see often customers, they start, yeah, we bought a CASB on top of our antivirus provider, they sold us this, and now we want to secure the cloud. No, your first line of defense is in identity management with a proper running two-factor authentication. Moving to Office 365 without two-factor authentication is a nonsense. Believe me, the first phishing attack will hit, and you will have people reading your mails. That's clear. In an infrastructure point of view, it's a question of transforming your existing controls, your existing security controls to the cloud. Most of them, you can just take them with you. Adapt them a little bit, push them to the cloud. You might need some new ones. When we speak about encryption, we speak about HSMs, about PKI, stuff which you might have in-house, might work a little bit different in a cloud, depending on the workloads you want to secure. You might have specific technological choices to make. On the cultural point of view, DevOps, automation, you want to be able to push things fast. And believe me, this is a huge cultural changes. When you have your Linux administrator, which is working there for 20 years, doing the same things manually, and you tell him one morning, from tomorrow on, we automate, there is a cultural shock. And this managing all these cultural differences, this change, this people change you have to push with cloud, with automation, within your organization, it's an important component. The transformation is not only technical, it's a huge cultural and people process. Skills, new skills, people need new skills, you need developers. We fight it. I mean, I come from the development. I started my career 20 years ago in development. And that time I was told that, yeah, development is dead, do something else. That's why I went to security, which is not dead either. But what I see, and I'm quite happy to see that, is that developers are coming back. This whole DevOps stuff is there, and yeah, everything gets code, everything gets automated. And I think looking at, I try to catch up, not to be too much in the middle of the break and you. So the cloud automation, you can resume it in four areas which are even important for security. I think the most important for security is compliance automation, because you want to be able to test your environment, you want to be able to test automatically your AWS, your Azure environments, make sure everything is according to your security baseline. But even infrastructure as code. In infrastructure as code, you define what you deploy in the cloud areas in code. So each machine, each security group, each rule, everything you deploy, you code it, you push it, and you deploy it. It goes back to the basics, of security as well. When I deploy a new firewall, I deploy the new firewall as code. When I deploy my firewall rules, my security group rules, they are deployed as code. Nobody's going to the console and changing things in production manually. Configuration management, I think we spoke about it for years, but the real configuration management, desired state configuration, being able to reproduce your workload to pre-deploy. I think this is all going with the fast part of cloud when you speak about auto-scaling, downscaling, scaling up, scaling down workloads in the cloud. With a proper configuration management, you can forget about backup, you can forget backup of machines, not of data, of course. You can forget about disaster recovery plans. You have a disaster recovery script that deploys everything on the other side of the globe if needed. Look at the good example there where everything is automated is Netflix. Netflix is doing an enormous job in this area. Automating everything, every single piece of Netflix is automatic. If it's not a secret, they run on AWS. If an AWS region is fading away, the customer is not supposed to see it at any time. So it happened not so long ago. All the Netflix part went away. Everybody was migrated on the other side of the USA. Nobody noticed it. Back on compliance automation, I think this is the heart of the security in a cloud environment. Automating those rules, automating hardening measures, automating the checking of the rules. So all the nice and paper policy you run can be automated in those areas. Last slide with content is just, I don't want to go through everything. It would be too long and much too boring. When we speak about DevOps, there is space for security in each of every step of the DevOps process. When we speak about containers, when we speak about code review, when we speak about all those components, there is a place for security in there, and there is something to be done in the security area. Start it tomorrow. Start thinking about a cloud security strategy tomorrow. Your businesses do not wait. They are there, they start, and I see it on a lot of customers, yeah, they are there. They have workload in Azure, they have workload in AWS. I think I equally mentioned both now, it should be fine. But start tomorrow, believe me, they will not wait. And the biggest security issues will come then when you have full environments in those cloud environments, which are uncontrolled. And my hope is being able in a few years to have the same speeches and say, okay, are you sure you are secure enough outside of the cloud? Because you did a great job in the cloud, but is your on-premise data as secure as your cloud workload? Thank you. I hope I catched up. And I hope I did it well with non-marketing.
That was not overly marketing-like. Thank you very much, Franck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We're going to have our coffee break in a second now. The coffee break goes up to 10:30, so we still have like 25 minutes. As I mentioned, you can go and see the speakers around the speakers lounge where the white sofas are. After the break, we're going to have the following speakers. We're going to have Nick Sullivan speaking here in the arena about new developments in the web, that you probably not even really notice, and how they're rechanging the whole security environment that we're working on. And Robert Rogermoser from Swiss Securicis will talk about developing secure hardware in Switzerland over at the management talk. Now, before you go out to the break, we need to do a little exercise together. If you open the program and you go to the program page, obviously, there it says scenario 1 on top. We only found out half an hour ago, and it's really embarrassing. I'm very sorry about that. Where it says scenario 1, it should be scenario 2, and where it says scenario 2, it should be scenario 1. So you may want to take a pen and fix this yourself.